Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
And this is Season 6, Episode 19.
Or Episode 137 if you're counting.
Good to see everybody here. Thank you as always to the Patreon contributors at patreon.com/MarsGirl. You guys make this show and all kinds of other stuff possible, so Thank you. Just got the upcoming request review for Atelier finished recording and filmed, and it's being edited right now. So that should come out very, very soon. So thank you guys for making that possible, too. Yeah.
Alright.
Alright.
Woo.
Yeah. What else is going on before we get too deep into stuff?
The weather sucks here.
Sure does. That weather caused blinking out of electricity here in the house and caused this computer to restart about an hour and a half ago, and that was not very conducive to being productive. Before this show, it was pretty crappy.
Yeah. Thankfully, most of the storm system that we were dealing with seems to have passed, so we should be alright for the rest of the night.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah, here's hoping. But, there's no telling with this weather either, because you might be hearing on the news, Texas is flooding, and that is definitely true in, Dallas and Houston. And here, the last couple of days we've been hammered pretty good here in San Antonio.
We've had a little bit of flooding here in town.
But, most of the time it just sort of hovers over us and just gets really, really humid, and they're saying, the hail is coming, the big flood rains are coming, and it sits up there, and it doesn't do anything.
Nah.
So, hopefully all of this rain is just all that humidity getting shoved out, and maybe it'll go away.
Hopefully.
Maybe
I remember
humid will go away.
Last summer was terrible because I think it was all last June actually. It was just nothing but rain constantly, and it was terrible. And this year looks like it's trying to match that at least, and I don't like it. Not just for the rain, because of the stupid bugs. Right?
That
I
too.
hate all the mosquitoes that show up. Each and every one of them, even though I don't know their names individually.
The mosquitoes love to hang out where there's just pooled up water where they can lay their eggs, and that seems to be what's going on. And it doesn't help that we live pretty close to the San Antonio River, right down the block. So, that's not cool.
That's not fun.
No, not at all. So those are some major things. Overwatch has still been a pretty big thing.
Yeah, that's in our follow-ups tonight.
Yeah, but between us,
Well, you seem to still be mainlining Zarya.
I went through absolutely everybody, and then...
Did you enjoy anybody else, at least?
I did, but then I also didn't like Kotaku, for example, releases an article about, here's how you beat all of the overused characters, and I'm like, who do they consider the overused characters? And I was like, they were the ones that I was okay at. So I was like, I better stick to Zarya, because, once every 8 matches I'll run into another Zarya.
Right.
It never happens. That, and the first time I played as Zarya, right after I was gifted with the game, I played as Zarya, and somebody made fun of me for not knowing how to play as Zarya, and I was like, well, screw that. I'm gonna get good at Zarya. And
get good.
I'm gonna get good. And now I'm on the leaderboard every single game I play. It doesn't mean that people upvote me because I don't get 80 bajillion kills, but I spam my buffs.
Well, it's objective-based. That's the good thing about the game.
Yeah, I spam my buffs,
yeah.
which is how I get on the leaderboards, and it says you're on the leaderboard because you threw out 30 buffs the entire time of the game, and so...
See, my whole thing is making sure that I'm on that payload escort every chance I get. I have to be on that. If not, I'm not going to get it any other way. Mm-hmm. And by this point, I've actually dabbled more. I'm not mainlining Reaper as much as I'd like to, since now people are getting flack for playing as Reaper, especially if you got a really stupid name like Edgelord 420 XXX and stuff like that. Again, Kotaku had a whole article on that, and admittedly, those kind of people gravitate towards that character.
That's very true.
I'm having more fun with Widowmaker, and I'm trying to learn Hanzo. I really am, because I don't want to be on the receiving end of his ultimate all the time. Mm-hmm. What was funny was we were in Walmart night before last, and I was just chasing you around with 2 green foam noodles. Pool noodles.
Pool noodles, yeah.
And it was just as annoying as it is in game.
Yeah, it was especially annoying because it was real life and you were hitting me in the face. That was really annoying.
It was hilarious.
Alright, well...
It really was. Let's see what else we got. I got a new video out. It was just a vlog on X-Men Apocalypse. Got a little bit of that in the follow-ups. But if you guys want to see that, head over to my channel. See what I thought about it. It was about 10 minutes or so of thoughts. But I overall enjoyed it. Better than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Yes.
I wasn't there for that.
Yes. And then tomorrow night we're doing something.
Right! Tomorrow night we're going to be possibly doing some read-through gameplay live dubbing. You remember a couple of years back, we did some live dubbing of the first Phoenix Wright game.
Ace Attorney, yes.
Yeah. So, this time, since really nobody has done any sort of translation for the very first Sakura Wars game, which originally came out on the Sega Saturn and then it was re-released on the Sega Dreamcast, the first 4 games were never released in the United States, and fans keep trying to do their own fan translations and release a patch with the ROM, but it never gets off the ground. But script translations exist out there.
Right, so there's a script.
So there is a translated script, and so Josh and me and our friend Chris and Stacy, whom I've been playing Destiny with, and I will be playing with her, actually. We're going to be talking to her all day long. We're all going to come over sometime later at night, tomorrow night, and we're going to do some live dubbing of the first Sakura Wars game. And it'll sound kind of clunky because...
It shouldn't be so bad.
No, I think it'll be really interesting. It's just we're going to have our eyes, 1 on the game and 2 on this alternate script off to the sides. It'll be a little funky, but I think it'll be really interesting because most English-speaking audiences have not seen this game and its gameplay before. And I think it's a fantastic game. I played through it and understood a good hunk of it. I'm not completely fluent in Japanese, but I got through it and I really, really like it. And this will be my first really immersive dive into it. I'm excited. I'm excited to share it with you guys.
I love doing live dub.
Yes, Josh is Ogami.
Yes, I will be playing Ogami, and Chris will be every other male role.
Literally every other male role. I'll do Sakura and a few other characters here and there.
And then, so definitely watch out for us on Twitter. We'll be announcing when we're doing that tomorrow night, but definitely sometime in the evening.
Sometime in the evening, absolutely. Yeah, Twitters and stuff, yes. I guess we should actually talk about our show tonight. Yeah.
So our first story has to do with editing software on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, so Share Factory on PS4 got big ol' upgrades and stuff, and I know that we're in a time of lots of Let's Plays and junk, and I thought that this was really kind of interesting, me speaking as somebody who makes videos and edits videos, and there are people who don't have PCs to edit this sort of stuff, and I just thought that all this update on PS4 Share Factory was really cool if that's something that you want to get into, but you don't know how to.
Right. Our second story of the evening turns out that Mark Hamill announced earlier today that he's going to be hosting something of a new show following people and their nerdy collections. So we'll talk to you guys about that, where that's going to be showing, not exactly on regular TV, how you'll be able to watch that, and who exactly is going to be on the show, if anybody.
If anybody other than Mark Hamill. And then finally, there's going to be some interesting Japanese TV shows being brought over to Amazon Prime, a number of dramas and such, although particularly interesting to this show that we are doing live with you right now.
2 titles in particular.
2 titles in particular out of the hero live-action tokusatsu sort of medium, which just brings more opportunities and possibly more open doors for English localization of these kind of shows.
Yes.
So that could be really good, or drop in the bucket and disappear. Who knows?
Let's hope it's something bigger than that.
Yeah. But I'm sure you have some follow-ups and junk, right?
No, I didn't do any follow-up work this week.
Well, then let's just go to the first story.
Okay, alright, I got follow-ups.
Alright, thank you.
Hey.
What?
Guess what your favorite story is?
I don't have a favorite story, Josh. I don't know.
Guess what the first story is, Kaylin?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Guess what the first story is?
Do I have to?
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Because we have an update.
No, we don't.
It's the actual movie.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It
Pull it
can't
up.
be.
Not quite Justice League. Here we go. The thing that just won't die
It's gonna lead me to drink.
Yes, it drives you to drink. Anyway, so yes, some new Not Quite Justice League news today. A trailer was put out from Warner Brothers on the Ultimate Edition of the movie. This, of course, being the lengthened version of the movie that we didn't get to see in theaters. Thankfully, they are not going to be releasing this in theaters. It is slated for June 28th in digital, and then a few weeks later on HD Blu-ray.
So is this pushed to that R rating that they were bragging about?
Yes, this is that R-rated version.
Okay, I mean, yeah, we did see the trailer for this thing.
A lot of new footage in the trailer.
Which, yay, I wish they had put that in the original theatrical release, but at the same time, I don't think any of it looks good enough to save the character development that much, or really save the characters as they are depicted ultimately.
Well, all things considered, too, the one thing that everybody gets on is that we see our first shots of Jenna Malone there as Barbara Gordon, and she's blonde. Like, historically here, like, we can get over Amy Adams being whatever color hair she wants to for Lois, but with Barbara is historically a redhead. Unless you count the one time with the 1966 series, but that's the only time they went that direction. Otherwise, she's a redhead.
I mean, they're really, at the end of the day, the color of that character's hair is probably the least of the problems
I'm just
of that
saying,
film.
With a movie that already had so many complaints about faithfulness to the characters, that's another shot in the foot there.
Okay.
So get it out of here. That's the only one we
what
got.
a horrible anniversary present for us.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, happy anniversary. All right, so moving on to some other news. Fresh off the press today, the Flash movie has a director now. This being Rick Famuyiwa. He was the director of the movie Dope. It came out last year, got a lot of praise for it. It's on Netflix now. He will, of course, be directing the movie that Ezra Miller is headlining. So now they've got some more steam moving forward. They've got their director. Mm-hmm. Wonder Woman's already wrapped. We're still waiting to hear anything about Cyborg or the Green Lantern Corps movie. We're still waiting on those things, but it's just little bits here and there that say DC's still trying to fight this game that Marvel has clearly already won.
Trying, yes.
In more positive news, Supergirl announced that their first season will be coming out later at the end of this summer on DVD and Blu-ray August 9th. So another delayed birthday present for me there. Woo.
Yay, by one day.
By one day,
By
yes.
one singular day. Happy
so if
birthday.
you guys want to check that out, get your money together now. It'll be just around the corner from us.
Yes.
Okay, so I think that does it for all our DC news. Let's move on to our Marvel news. So the big thing right now is, according to most trade outlets, Brie Larson, who just won an Academy Award this past Academy Awards, is the front runner right now for the role of Captain Marvel for Carol Danvers. Most people thinking, oh, this is probably a good thing. She'd bring a lot to the role, and of course she's hot right now since she's fresh off an award.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
So many other people that have joined the Marvel Cinematic Universe. On the other side of that, we've got some Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor news. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. They're saying that the villain of the movie will be her/Kismet/Paragon, who has a very strong tie to somebody who was hinted at in the first movie, Adam Warlock. Potentially saying that Adam Warlock could eventually show up either in another Guardians movie or actually in Infinity War.
I hope that's true.
That, of course, tying back to the comics where he does, in fact, have one of the Infinity Gems.
Mm-hmm.
Very much looking forward to seeing how they play that out. Over on Thor Ragnarok's side, it turns out that I had theorized this for a while, and then off camera I had conferred with Cosmetic Cutie about this. She was like, no, I'd seen that coming too. They're going to, in fact, since Mark Ruffalo is reprising his role as Bruce Banner, they will be adapting part of the Planet Hulk storyline in Thor Ragnarok.
I'm wondering where that's supposed to fit in exactly, because last we saw Thor was just kind of chilling in a jet. And it wasn't the Avengers being like, he's too dangerous, let's throw this guy into space. So I'm really wondering.
Yeah, because we don't have nearly what we have in the comics. The Illuminati isn't even fully formed. Hell, two of them are still stuck over in other other studios right now. But here they'll adapt it just the way they adapted Civil War. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just take the things that everybody knows and likes about it and make that on the big screen.
Yes.
That much will be fine, and they did say the notable Hulk garb that he's wearing when he's in his gladiator matches will be seen on the screen.
Okay, but does it show how his life is totally and completely ruined and shattered?
I don't know about that, but I imagine they'll talk
Because
about
the
it.
Planet Hulk animated movie does not go that far.
No, it does not. That was kind of one of the fallings of that movie. But then again, a lot of those Marvel movies that came out, those animated movies that came out around that time, weren't that great. Yeah, so there's that. Over on some kind of past news, but still Marvel related. So we remember a while back, before we got the reboots of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, Sam Raimi was toying around with the idea of making a fourth Spider-Man movie. And today, some information came out with some character designs and not screenshots, little stills of what could have possibly happened. One of these things we have a picture of here.
We do?
Yes, of what might have happened in Spider-Man 4. Now, this in particular...
Is
this right here, I don't know if you guys can tell right there, that is actually supposed to be good old Bruce Campbell making his cameo
that does kind of look like
as
Bruce
Mysterio
Campbell.
in the movie, because that was going to be the whole thing. He was there in all three Spider-Man movies in some minor role, and in Spider-Man 4 it would have been revealed that the whole time he was Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio, who eventually turned to a life of crime.
Okay, that would have been very silly.
Yeah, but I was totally looking forward to it. I still think they could do it, honestly. If, Marvel, if you want to drop people, a good, nice elbow there, come on. Bruce could do it. It's not that hard. He can still do it. He's good right now off Ash vs. Evil Dead. Please.
Is it still running?
They're going to get their second season.
That's what I thought. I thought so. Okay.
So, good news on that. Okay, so there's that. And of course, I was talking about X-Men Apocalypse earlier. Turns out they won the weekend with about 110 million. That's completely 80 million domestic, and then altogether put together, it's 110 million.
I'm not too surprised, despite its mixed reviews. I mean, it's an X-Men movie, so, I'm not shocked or anything.
I'll say this one, I'll go on record as saying it's better than The Last Stand. Definitely better than The Last Stand.
As far as I understand, most of the X-Men movies are better than The Last Stand?
Unless you watch X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah, I was about to say, except that Wolverine thing, yes.
But yeah, coming from personal opinion, it's good, it's worth watching, you'll be entertained, go watch it. So simple enough stuff there.
Okay, it's funny. It's just so funny because you are literally the only person within my social networks that says that. Everybody else has said that it's really quite not good.
To some people, they might just view it as mediocre. I thought it was all right. I was going in there thinking it was going to suck, and it didn't suck. So I have to admit that. I paid my money. I have my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that is what your opinion is or that it's valid or anything.
So moving on to some other movie news, a lot of you guys are talking about it here in the chat. Ecto Cooler is out there somewhere, all right? And we here at the show personally have been hunting just about every night, every local supermarket and Walmart trying to find this mofo, and we can't find it yet. It's not even hardly a story. We're just looking for Ecto Cooler. We just want to let you guys know that.
You apparently, if you have Amazon Prime, you can get it shipped from Amazon. We let our Amazon Prime
ours lapsed last month, so
yeah,
good on us.
we can't afford more Amazon Prime, so which is unfortunate because that'll lead into our next story, and not the next story, but
one of the stories tonight. Okay, so moving on to some Final Fantasy 15 news. I'm going to let you handle this one.
You didn't tell me about what Final Fantasy 15 news?
About the product placement?
Oh, well, yeah, you should have warned me about this, and then I would have been maybe a little bit more prepared. So I guess yesterday or the day before, Square Enix decided, you know what, we need to let people know about the characters' names, their birthdays, their blood types, and the things that they like. That's a really Japanese sort of thing to do. I'm sorry. I wish you had given me the story because I don't even remember the name of the character that this is in relation to. But one of the characters, the main character likes video games. Another character likes photography. Another character likes cooking, and then one of the guys. They're all guys.
Well, yeah.
One of them very specifically likes Coleman camping equipment. And
that's oddly specific.
Yeah, they could have said he likes camping. That would have been...
He likes the outdoors. That's a character trope.
Yeah, that would have been a trait, an activity that the character likes to do, just like the other three guys. But no, he specifically likes Coleman camping equipment. What would happen if instead we gave him... Well, give me another brand of camping equipment.
Well, not even camping equipment. What if he likes Coke products, specifically? What if he likes Oh, Audi cars.
No, what I'm saying is, if you give him another brand of camping equipment, is he going to reject it and,
I don't even
have
know.
a bitch fit about it?
I don't even know camping equipment that well. You're asking the wrong guy.
Like, that's not a character trait.
No,
is
it's
what
not.
I'm
It's
trying
not.
to get
It's
across.
product placement.
As it is. I mean, I already saw in the first demo. Of course, Coleman is in there.
Yeah.
And man, you guys really needed the cash that bad. That the tie-in you chose, like the tie-in that they chose for Final Fantasy VII Advent Children almost made sense. Because it was a cell phone, and yeah, they use cell phones, and they have the cell phone service that they tied into, and you can buy Cloud's phone right now. But Coleman camping equipment?
Nah, man. Nah.
I can't even.
Alright, so let's not worry about that. Okay, moving on to some Transformers news. So over on Tuesday, just 2 days ago, a little bit of information was released for Transformers The Last Night. I can't even hardly take that title seriously. But we have a look at our villain for this next Transformers movie, the 5th installment, and it's
Oh, wait, I
keep
thought
passing it. I'm watching you pass it.
I don't even see where it is. I don't see
It's right there, underneath what you have highlighted.
Yeah,
There you go.
Okay, yeah, what's that?
So if you guys can't tell who that is,
Because I can't.
because you can't, they had to tell us it's Megatron.
Well, it looks like Robo-Bane is what it
does
looks
look like Robo-Bane from Robo Dark Knight Rises. But no, it's Megatron again, because we really needed Megatron after his death and Galvatron's death. Sorry about spoilers, whatever. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, when you said to me the other day, guess who the bad guy is? It's Megatron, and I was like, well, that's not news.
Yeah.
When is it not Megatron? Well, I guess when it's Galvatron.
When it's Galvatron, yeah.
It's the same character.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, in the 4th movie, is it the same character? Did they do that?
They built him out of stuff from Megatron.
Okay, I had to be sure, because
Yeah.
I only saw movies 1 and 3, and not movies 2 and 4, so
Yeah.
I'm on a kick now where I only watch the odd-numbered films,
Okay,
I
that's
guess.
fine.
So
That's
I
fine.
guess
You
I'm
can-
watching the next one for some stupid reason. Okay.
There'll be a reason. Okay, so again, we were talking about Overwatch earlier. Interesting to see that people trying to cheat on the game, add mods, things of that nature,
In Overwatch?
are getting banned hard. Like, you cannot get in. Blizzard is cracking down completely hard on people trying to break the game, and they're not allowing any sort of leeway there. And I think that's actually
One
a good
and done,
thing.
huh?
One and done, that's it. People are saying they've tried to reinstall the game, completely reboot their PCs, completely wipe them, make completely new accounts, but they're tracking everything, they're tracking your IP. No, if you're trying to break this game, you're not going to do it. We want to keep this game as kept together as possible.
It's not like Blizzard's losing any money or anything. Blizzard is on such a roll right now, it's almost like they can do no wrong. So if people are pissed off about getting banned, or if they're telling their friends, don't get this game because they'll ban you for blah blah blah, and then you won't be able to play again, Blizzard's not going to care.
Or
Blizzard's way too rich to care.
If you don't want to break the game by trying to mod it, there's another option that, of course, you have brought up, Get Good.
Yeah, just actually be good at the game. That's the start.
That might help. Okay, moving on to some anime movie news. So, of course, we were talking to you guys about the Full Metal Alchemist movie live-action adaptation. The director has gone on record as saying something I was completely and utterly worried about. We will tell the entire story of this show in one movie.
How are they gonna do that, Josh?
I have no friggin' clue. It's probably gonna need to be 5 or 6 hours long, but no, don't do that. Like, this is one of those few times where I'd be like, you know what, split it up. There's a lot of ground to cover here, just split it up. You can't tell the whole thing in one movie. You just can't.
It's already bad enough that in episode 1 to 2 of the original series, you have to go from child Edward and Al
First 3 episodes, yeah.
to bam, they're mid-children. And
they've gone on record as saying as Edward will start off the movie at 20 years old, not 15.
That doesn't make sense.
But I figured that's what they were going to do. They were going to age him up. I knew they were going to friggin' do that.
Yeah. Actually, as a tie-in to that story, didn't we just see that Funimation is
Yes.
letting Full Metal Alchemist license lapse?
Yes, at the end of next month, Funimation will no longer have the license to any of the Full Metal Alchemist properties over here, either the original series or Brotherhood. Just, we're letting it go.
Who on owns the copyright to the manga? Is it Viz?
Viz, yeah.
So, I mean, maybe somebody still... And they didn't let it lapse, did it? Did they?
Not as far as I know.
Maybe we
We'll
still
have
have
to
manga. Yeah, we need to look that up.
Okay, so moving on to some other news, some Tokusatsu news over here. So, we got our first look at our bad guy for the Kamen Rider Ghost movie. This coming out, I guess also there on August 9th. Right there at the top.
We're talking about
Yes.
Ghost? Ghost
This
right now?
is Kamen Rider Dark Ghost. Who's just...
He's Dark Ghost.
He's just Ghost with white lining instead of orange lining. I actually like the eyes. It looks better to me, more aesthetically pleasing.
You hate stuff like this, though. You're like,
Oh no, I'm not gonna lie and say it's not cheap as hell. It's cheap as hell. Yeah, it's totally a repaint. I'm just saying I like the eyes,
Okay.
and that's as much as you can say about that. You can get that out of here. Now on the other side of things, with Kamen Rider Drive Saga, Kamen Rider Mach / Kamen Rider Heart, we've got some updating on filming, which is the return of older cast members, and we have a picture of all three of them together. Ryoma Takeuchi, Ryo Uchida, and Taiko Katono are all returning to the movie in different forms as we're used to. Of course, in the series proper, or rather in the this last movie war, the two of those characters got married, and it appears they're going to have their first kid, as far as the plot is concerned. And then Taiko Katono will not be returning as Chase, but as Koichi Kano, the human that Chase copied. So we're going to be dealing with the cop counterpart, not the stoic hero that we're all used to.
Okay.
And that, of course, will be coming out in November. Still very much looking forward to that, since I very much enjoyed the last one. Hopefully I can film the review for that one, this past movie, this week.
Yes.
Yes. And that's all our follow-ups. Let's go ahead and get into our first story.
Alright, first one was PS4 related stuff. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that is somewhere around here. It's right there. Okay.
Yes.
So, you're looking at what appears to be a screenshot for Share Factory, and if you own a PS4, you might already be familiar with Share Factory. It's typically like right there on your PS4 desktop, and some of you might not even know what it is if you don't especially care about sharing videos of your gameplays and stuff. But, you know, we live in an age where if you're watching us right now, you probably are also familiar with people doing Let's Plays and sharing gameplay footage and blah-de-blah. And there are some people that are like, man, I've got no idea how it is I'm supposed to get into any of this to begin with. Admittedly, that's one good thing that both the PS4 and the Xbone have been able to do, and that is to be able to stream and edit directly from your home console, albeit they haven't done it perfectly. It's not nearly as good as connecting a console to your PC, getting a capture card, and all this other editing equipment, and like I edit on Adobe Premiere, for example, but most people don't have a setup that elaborate. They just want to play a game, and they just want to play on the internet, and that's about it.
And then for those people, of course, who want to get into streaming their games and showing highlights of their gameplay, the idea of having to hook up all of these different things and get all these different programs and all the extra stuff put into it, the task looks very daunting to them. Well, Share Factory making this upgrade to their software is kind of meant to help that out.
Yeah, so it already existed, and it existed at the bare minimum. You know, you have, if you have a camera for your PS4, that's great. You'll be like in a little box there in the corner, but you know, you can see like everything. Apparently one of the things, which I think is almost one of the most important things at this point, is kind of what we're doing right now. It has chroma capture capabilities, meaning
Chroma key support.
Yeah, chroma key support, meaning you can take a green screen like we use, or apparently a white screen. I don't know why you would use the color white as your backdrop, but okay, if that's all you've got, then whatever. It most easily picks up green and white, can drop that background out, and then your head will be sitting on top of your video game background, or you can put animations behind yourself or whatever. I think that is really good and really useful. I'm looking at all of these different bullet points that have been listed off today. The commentary track has been replaced with a more expansive second track, allowing you to layer 2 videos for picture-in-picture.
Now, I can think of a good way they would use that. Say in a game like Overwatch, if you want to show from 2 different angles how a kill or a play of the game came off, then that's a good way to do it. Because sometimes it's not as cool from one angle. You might want to see it from another. Case in point, I remember I was playing a couple of nights ago. You remember, you at least heard this. I was playing as Widowmaker. Pharah was over on the other side of the field. She had launched herself into the air and was using her super. And myself as Widowmaker, I got her right in the face as she was launching her super. So she's there like, "Justice reigns from above!" And I would have loved to have shared that. But it doesn't look cool from my angle because I'm really far away and you wouldn't be able to see that. If you're able to capture both and kind of get it from two different angles and show what it was like from my angle getting the shot and a more closed up angle, or really something capturing Pharah and her falling out of the sky comically, that'd be great to see.
That would be fun. That would be fun. Video exports can now be as long as 60 minutes. So if you've like combined, if you've gathered a whole bunch of footage from different pieces of gameplay, they no longer have to be only 15 minutes or whatever length. You can now splice them all together, render the whole thing, and then upload them. But your recording times at a single point in time are still only 15 minutes in length. Apparently you can get around that using some other tips and tricks and stuff, but at least you can get an hour-long hunk eventually to upload from your PS4 and go to YouTube. And now they can be uploaded without you having to sit there within Share Factory's app. You can be kind of chilling on your home screen on PS4 while it's uploading in the background, so you're not having to be like, oh, I'm gonna sit here and wait for this thing. And depending on your internet connection speed, that could really suck. But if you're allowed to chill on your PS4's home screen, it makes it a little better.
Now, overall, the thing I'm seeing here is it's going to... The idea is, of course, to, I guess in this case, promote people doing gameplay videos.
Right now, that is super hot. Definitely ride it while it's hot, because it's probably not going to die off for at least another 1 to 2 years, and then another big thing is going to come in and take its place. But right now, everybody wants in on that sweet Let's Play, I don't know, cash inflow, if that's one way you want to look at it.
Well, if you eventually want to turn it that way. But basically, people want, at the minimum, to be able to share these experiences with other people. Whether you're playing Overwatch or Battleborn, or you stopped playing Battleborn and actually got with your stuff and started playing Overwatch. People want to see this stuff, share this stuff all the time. And I think putting this out there shows that Sony wants to make sure that they give people what they want.
Right, exactly.
People want to be able to do this, want to be able to share this, so they're making it a little bit easier. Now, is that to say that eventually this might actually get up to a really good, I might actually start using Share Factory a little bit more point for people?
It could, yes. It's a little bit more intuitive than it was before. This is not to say that it is nearly as intuitive as PC stuff. Apparently you can also do things like putting text on screen and turning the text around and stuff. Also, uploading is still in 720p, and it still hasn't bumped up to broadcasting or recording in 1080, which says nothing about the eventual 4K that's coming.
We don't know. That could be a thing down the road.
Somewhere down the road, yeah, but right now, if some people might not be too thrilled with, like, oh, it's only in 720, not even worth it. Some people are like that. I'm not, but some people are.
Hey, take what you can get, I say.
It's getting closer and closer to being really comprehensive. Shoot, there are some really good comprehensive video editing apps and software for Android products right now. I was watching somebody edit a dance routine video while I was up at the Madicon a couple of months back, and I was like really impressed with, oh my god, this cell phone app can do like way more, almost as much as I can do on my PC. And if a video game console can get that far, I legitimately believe that it could eventually. It's just a matter of, realize you're doing all this video editing on a PS4 controller, which is a little clunky. You could kind of see, if I were to turn and move away, maybe the chairs are kind of in the way
of the timeline.
No, not the timeline, but lower than that, you can see the button mapping for some of the ways that you edit, and every button does something different, and I can't imagine how difficult it would be to do all of the different things that you want to do, that you can do on PC. There's got to be a different way of selecting different editing tools. There's just got to be a different way. The way it's set up right now, it's not nearly as intuitive as it could be, but I think there's possibility for it.
Well, because really the biggest difference I see is the fact that you're using, there with the Share Factory, you're having to use your controller, whereas here, you're using a mouse.
Yes, exactly.
So, were they to, say, make a mouse for the PS4, I'm not saying that they would, just hypothesizing here, were they to do that, would that make this a more viable way of doing your videos?
No.
For gameplay, I should say.
No, not by making you buy something else. No, what they would have to do is make a different menu for you to be able to just move your cursor over a tool and then select it, and then then it practically is a mouse in your hands as a controller. I think it should be like a toolbar of stuff that you can select rather than mapping all of these different buttons to do something different. I think that's we've hit the limit with buttons.
Well, now that this is out there, are you going to attempt using this?
I don't see why I would, because I've got my PC.
But I mean, just to see what it's capable of.
I might. Just to run some tests, perhaps I will. Make it a really stupid YouTube poop sort of thing, and then see if my millions upon millions of views roll right in, because I did the bare minimum work in order to make it happen.
It could work. You don't know.
Yeah, it could. Can't you hook up USB mouse and keyboard? Actually, I believe you can.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, I remember Stacy was telling us just the other day that she was pretty sure you could hook up mouse and keyboard should you so desire to play like a first-person shooter on your PS4 and use mouse and keyboard support. I've never done it personally, but I bet you could.
Well, then that remains to be seen how people are going to utilize it then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that's about it.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so let's move on to our second story.
Okay. What's our second story, Josh? Is it Mark Hamill?
Yes, it's Mark Hamill.
It's Mark Hamill. Okay.
There he is. Good old Mark. How you doing?
Bearded Mark.
Yes. Bearded Jedi Mark.
Anyway.
Okay, so Mark Hamill is going to be hosting a new show for Comic-Con HQ.
So let's first talk about what the show is, and then we'll move on to the platform Comic-Con HQ. So this show is titled Mark Hamill's Pop Culture Quest.
Yes.
And he's got like a 1.5 minute long trailer for this thing, and he's bragging about, look how much stuff I collect. I collect so much stuff I can't even display it anymore, and I have to buy storage units for them, and that's no fun because you want to display that stuff. Well, that means that what I'm going to have to do then is go to people's houses and look at their collections, and then share those collections with the rest of the world on my show, Mark Hamill's Pop Culture Quest. So I guess this means that, like, yeah, apparently you can take pictures or write emails or however it is they're doing the submissions for this. I have no idea how they're doing the submissions for this, and be like, hey, Mark Hamill, I have a cool collection. Will you come to my house? And then they'll film this bit with Mark Hamill in your house looking at your collection of crap, and apparently it doesn't matter what that collection is. Pinball machines, Barbie and Ken dolls are specific.
Star Wars!
There's some specific things that he has listed in this video.
Yeah.
And it seemed like there's not a whole heck of a lot to go on in the video. It was like one stagnant, stationary shot of Mark Hamill talking up how cool he thinks the show is going to be.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering about the potential. I think it has room for interesting potential for interesting people and interesting
when I first heard about the show coming out, I hear the title Mark Hamill's Pop Culture Quest, and I'm like, oh, is it gonna be like a show like Talking Dead, but he's just talking about everything? Like, I would so watch that, like a nerd show hosted by Mark Hamill, because he's dabbled in just about everything.
Yeah,
by
like
this point.
He knows comics.
He's written comics and scripts, been in movies and cartoon. Like, the dude can talk. Let him talk. But it's like, no, we're just gonna have him look at other people's stuff. And I'm like, that's kind of a I don't want to say a misuse, but an underuse of Mark Hamill.
But then again, maybe the stuff he's going to look at is stuff that he actually knows a lot about and he can contribute to in a conversation.
Well, then that would be my other hope, then, is that would be the case.
I think it's going to be okay. I need to see some test footage, personally, not just Mark Hamill.
Like a pilot.
Yeah, not just Mark Hamill standing in front of, like, a bunch of books and DVDs and figures and stuff in his own house. So I need some more...
Well, like, is this going to be, like, the nerdy version of Cribs? Is that it?
It could be. It could be. Except it might not be a person's whole house. It might be a person's whole house.
You don't know. Some people's collections are insane.
Yeah, so I highly doubt... Like, I have 450 games, but there are people who go way beyond what I... Like, mine is a bookcase.
Well, because the way you have it is like, and here's my games.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like,
it doesn't look like 450 games, but then again, a lot of my games are also on my PC, so, like, that doesn't look very impressive. So Mark Hamill's not coming to our house, is basically what I'm telling you
That's the
guys.
unfortunate truth.
But the other truth to it is that this series is going up on Comic Con HQ, which you can apparently go to www.comic/conhq.com. And I'm wondering about this platform, alright? Because we've got a ton of platforms like this.
Right.
And this is going to be another thing that you have to register for. But right now, it is in beta. You can join the free beta for, it looked like less than a month when I tried to join up for it. It looked like, you can go until June or maybe July 29th. So a month or more, maybe. And then you have to pay at least $5 a month to continue subscribing to Comic Con HQ. And Comic Con HQ, I saw for certain, like that show Con Men, we've reported on Con Men
right,
before.
the one that
Nathan Fillion
and Alan Tudyk are working on.
Yeah, that's gonna show up on Comic Con HQ. It's apparently, you know, a 24-hour, 365-day network, either on your PC, or your phone, or your tablet, or on your TV, on smart TVs, your Xbox, your PlayStations, Roku, Chromecast, Apple TV. So you can watch it on all these different places, but it's yet another digital streaming service that
you have to pay
that
for.
you're going to have to eventually pay for. And, you know, some of the stuff seems kind of interesting, you know, comic-related stuff, cosplay-related stuff. It's cool and all, but I don't want to pay for another service.
No,
you know?
I get that.
Like, you already have to pay for Crunchyroll, you already have to pay for Netflix, you already have to pay for Hulu Plus,
Amazon Prime,
and we can't afford Amazon Prime, and there's another story we're doing on Amazon Prime next, and like,
well, because the point of it is this kind of show, specifically the show he's hosting here, seems like the kind of thing that would fit on the Sci-Fi Network.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, oh yeah, that's something that comes on, you know, right after whatever show they're airing right now. Like, it's been so long since I've seen Sci-Fi. It's what comes on after Sharknado 7.
Yeah.
But because the thing of it is, like, yeah, it's kind of, now we're getting to that point where we're already in so much nerd culture now that's available that this one, even though I like Mark Hamill as a person, I like him as a personality, but this kind of show, it's like, so what do you got there? Is that a comic book? That's my best Mark Hamill right there. That's all I got.
Wow, that sounded more like grandma.
Okay, sorry. Point being...
Sounded like your grandma.
My grandma does not sound like that.
She doesn't sound much different than that.
She does not sound like that.
Yes, she does. Yeah.
Arguments about how my grandma sounds. Point being, like, yeah, I really do think this is an underuse of his talent and ability and, you know, personal capability as a nerd, not just as friggin' the Joker or Luke Skywalker.
I also wonder, though, I mean, Comic-Con's got cash to burn. They probably...
They do.
They're actually probably paying him quite nicely for such a small, simple task.
That is very true.
Probably the major costs of doing this show are so low. They were like, we have saved so much money just in the planning of this show without having picked out a host yet.
What do you mean saved money? They don't have to save money.
That we can now afford Mark Hamill.
They could do that whenever they want. It's like, okay, so, like, pre-orders went up, and now they're closed because they're all bought out, and a lot of people paid in Firstborn. Mark, do you take Firstborn, or do you prefer a check? Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to Comic-Con, like, people will sacrifice, and kill and gouge your eye out with a mechanical pencil to get in there. So yeah, they've got the money. That's not the problem at all.
Yeah, you're probably right. So that's what we're looking at right now. Is I need more information about the show. I need to see a pilot for it or something in order to be really impressed by it. I would watch it just to see Mark if he like nerds out over somebody's collection. That would be fun to watch.
Yeah.
But I need to see a pilot of him actually doing that, and I need to not have to pay for it. Because I have to pay for too many other things already. Let's not do that. Can we?
Like Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, I will pay for your event one day, but I don't think I'll pay for this service necessarily.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that.
This is gonna have to be really amazing to make me want to rope in just off this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go for their beta or for their 1 month free whatever, I think, until his show comes on.
Right.
And then we'll see whether or not it's worth the $5 a month, because right now I don't see enough programming to make me feel like it's worth the $5 a month. I'm not there yet. Maybe they can prove it to me later on down the road. It is still in beta. It's still going to be another 40 some odd days before it launches. In fact, there's a specific day, it says on the website. 48 days. Oh, no, San Diego Comic-Con begins in 48 days. I want to say that's not too far off from when they actually fully launch Comic-Con.
I think they're
HQ.
trying to tie the two together.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little over a month, and both of them will drop, so...
Yeah, so that's that.
Okay, I'm done with this story.
Alright, so moving on to our last story, which actually has a lot of interesting hope, I should say. Really is the word I want to get across here. Mm-hmm. Hope for what we can expect in the future. So, press release was... put out by Amazon, specifically from Amazon Japan, talking about certain shows that they are going to be bringing to their Amazon Prime streaming service over the coming year. Mm-hmm. And the important thing to see out of this is that a lot of these shows will not just go to their Japanese audience, because a lot of the shows are region locked.
Right.
Now we're looking at certain shows being available in Western markets, such as Germany, the UK, and most importantly to us here, the US, the United States. And we're looking at the list here of shows. They've got a couple of drama series that they've got coming over.
A number of these drama series are based on a manga. For example, Maki Inoji's Happy Marriage is based on a manga. It's a drama. Hikaru Katsuki's Baby Steps, based on a manga. It's also a live-action drama. There's going to be a sitcom about aliens having to go to work for some reason. Uchu no Shigoto. That it literally means space's work of space. But
it's being brought over under the title Businessmen vs. Aliens.
Which I guess maybe that's not that far off.
And some other stuff, but that's not really the important part. The thing that we really were focusing on is two titles in particular. The first being Ultraman Orb, which is the next installment in the Ultraman franchise, will be available on Amazon Prime here in the US.
That is probably the least surprising of them, because Tsuburaya has done so very well lately in bringing over tons of Ultraman series and translating them and allowing them to be legally distributed throughout the United States.
Specifically on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, so not only Crunchyroll, apparently on YouTube also. So,
yes.
So they're doing a fantastic job.
Tsuburaya has had their act together for a couple of months
I just wish it wasn't on Amazon Prime, because like we've said earlier in the show, we can't afford Amazon Prime anymore.
But the major thing to point out, aside from Ultraman Orb, is Kamen Rider Amazons.
I just wish I liked Amazons better.
Now, of course, Kamen Rider Amazons is in their first season right now. They were just greenlit for season 2, as some of you were bringing up here in the chat. But that will be made available here legally in the States. This is the first time a Kamen Rider series from Japan, not some adaptation of it, is being brought over to be seen here in the States.
Which, first time legally subbed.
Yes.
Yeah, which, that in and of itself is very, very fascinating. God, wish it wasn't Amazons, because I really don't like Amazons, but you do have to look at the bigger picture. Maybe this opens up a new gateway to be like, is there more of where this came from? And yeah, Amazons itself is
very loosely based
on Kamen Rider Amazon. I mean, if they were smart, if somebody was smart, one, Toei would allow, and some company would try to license Kamen Rider Amazon because it's the shortest and probably one of the cheapest of the Kamen Rider series to license.
Right.
And that would begin to be a brand new gateway, just like Super Sentai has had a gateway with DVDs being released by Shout Factory.
Yes.
Like, that would be...
Shout Factory having their...
that would be the smartest thing I think I could think of for them to do.
Yeah, because Shout Factory has their stuff from Toei legally streaming on their site. Zyuranger, Dairanger, now we're going into Kakuranger, and then they just announced O-Ranger over here. And like we've been saying here many times on the show and also over on Twitter, we need to support stateside Toku. Because the whole reason we go into fan subs for the longest time was because it wasn't allowed to be over here. We wish we could pay for this sort of thing, and now this is the first chance we actually get to legally pay for and watch the show without having to go through some back channel.
Now, like, V3 is being brought up as something that has been local. It technically, yes. It
and
has
technically,
been
no, because...
Like, it's Hawaiian, right?
Yes, it's Hawaiian.
Which is so weird because, like, it's not like Hawaii is not part of the United States, but, like, it's so narrowly released in Hawaii and then is super expensive to ship anywhere.
Yeah, because
like, it doesn't even make sense.
Because if you go online, because, yes, we've said that before and it bears repeating, you can legally buy English subs for Kamen Rider V3, however, that box set is like $150. And for 50 some odd episodes, that's a lot. Especially even if it's something coming out over here. If I can find all of friggin' Rocko's Modern Life for $20 at Walmart, then I shouldn't have to pay that much for 50 episodes of something else when I can get more episodes of something for less over here. The numbers just don't make sense on that.
Yeah.
If you want to move the product, you got to make it at a reasonable cost.
It also is coming out of a localization studio that otherwise, other than that box set, I have never heard of before.
Well, they've done other tokusatsu. Most recently, they did Kikaider Reboot.
Yes.
And a few other series there. But the thing about it is, as it stands here in the U.S., we are actually in a very good age right now where we're finally starting to see, with this, Kamen Rider legally being able to stream over here. Ultraman legally being able to stream over here. Super Sentai legally being able to stream over here. What would be nice is if we can push forward towards watching the concurrent series. And really, that's what we're getting out of when we get Amazon Season 2 and Ultraman Orb, because that will be the most recent one.
Yes.
They're bringing that over as it airs. They just did that with Ultraman X.
Yes.
Over on Crunchyroll. What would be nice if we could get the concurrent season of Super Sentai and Kamen Rider over here legally. That is the goal. Not even the dream anymore, because now we can say goal. Because with every little bit here, with things like Shout Factory, Amazon Prime, Subadai are working with Crunchyroll, now we're getting closer to that, to a point where the East can recognize that the West wants to purchase these items, wants to watch and consume their media just as much as they consume ours.
Which would also then make me hope, we were looking at things that are listed on Japan's Netflix relatively recently. There are Kamen Rider movies, older movies, but there are Kamen Rider movies that have made it to Netflix.
In Japan.
In Japan, it would be nice if all they did was just subtitle it and unregion lock the thing and then send it to the US. They could do it if they really wanted to. They could do it.
And the thing about it is, it wouldn't take that much. It really wouldn't. It just takes just that much more work to open up their product to a whole new audience. An audience that is hungry for it.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing more and more every year, the tokusatsu community grows and grows. And I look at convention photos from anything from MegaCon to AX, and people are starting to wear the costumes. It used to be back when I started wearing Kamen Rider costumes, nobody knew who the hell I was, except maybe that one kid that I shouldn't have gotten mad at for the mispronunciation. But nowadays, I can see, oh, you're O's, oh, you're Forza, oh, you're Wizard. Like, I recognize them. Or you're from Zyuranger. Like, it's out there now. People are more aware of what it was. There's not that stigma anymore. And the only way that's going to grow is if more people get to watch it. And the only way more people are going to get to watch it is if you allow them to watch it. So hopefully this moves forward. Maybe this is the first sign of Toei getting their head out of their ass.
I hope.
Showing, hey, maybe we should let the Americans buy this stuff. Maybe. I mean, they buy our toys. We kind of figured they buy our toys. But I don't know if they want the show it came from. I don't know about that. It's just weird to see that the first choice that they're going with is Amazon's, because maybe they think it has to be something a little more adult for
Right.
the Americans to want to buy it. Because they said they based the way Amazon looks in Amazon's, I should specify, looks and feels, they base that off American media. Like, that's just our reflection from them.
Yeah, but
That doesn't mean it's good.
It doesn't mean that's what I want. I don't want that. I want Japanese things. They don't understand that what I'm actually interested in is exactly what they already do. You don't need to tailor it to me. No, you've tailor-made it for yourself, and I'm interested in the service that you already provide. Please let me have that service.
Yes. No, you don't understand. I just want more rice.
Yeah.
you understand what I mean by that.
Yeah, we might have to explain that.
We'll explain that in the post-show.
Yeah.
But basically, if this is what we've got right now, then we kind of owe it to ourselves to try and work on this. So those of you there in the audience who are aware of Amazon's, you can at least sit through it with a group of people and make fun of it. You can at least do that, all right?
Yeah,
you can at least be semi-entertained.
Because I don't like it. I'm sorry. I don't.
But I'm going to sit through it. I'm probably going to talk about it once it's done. Once the season is done.
Yeah.
The point being, this is what we've got right now. The table has these cards out here. Get this service, and you can legally support the thing you said you always wanted to support.
Too bad Prime is so expensive,
That's
though.
the biggest problem, though. Like, if I could do a much cheaper subscription, then I would do it. But, like, in order to finally be able to support Kamen Rider, I don't know. I'm going to have to figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to be able to. I've been wanting to, for 10 years now.
Yeah, and, well, you might have that chance coming up very soon.
Well, here's hoping.
I hope that is true.
Yes.
Alright, well, I guess that's about it for that story, too. And I'll just make that picture go away, alright?
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, so thank you, as always, everybody, for hanging out with us this long. And if you're here with us live, it would sure be nice if you stuck around for an additional half hour while we do the Q&A. That's gonna be great. But if you're not here with us live, sorry that you can't be here for the Q&A, but I'd really like it if you could be. And come on down here at 9 p.m. Central on Thursdays so that you can hang out with all these lovely people over here in the chat and talk to them while we're doing our show live. And then, again, the additional Q&A. We would love to have you guys down here and answer questions from you guys. It's always a good time.
Yes.
He.
But during the week, you can always talk to us over on social media, over on Twitter if you got a story you want to share with us, or just want to chat with us. I'm at Josh Knight First.
And I'm at Mars Girl.
And that having been said, that's been tonight's episode of Beyond the Black Rims. We'll see you guys again next week.
Thanks, everybody! Yeah!